Kenya has taken very significant strides to move closer to the MSCI targets for an emerging market jurisdiction, being only the second securities exchange in Africa to have been demutualized. We are already an undoubted transportation and logistics hub. Now, the 10-year capital markets master plan was actually a strategy instrument developed in conjunction between the authority and the whole industry within Kenya, as well as some of our key institutional and other retail partners and development partners around the world, to really put together a very clear blueprint as to what are the key considerations and directional elements that we need to take into consideration as we try to grow Kenya into our target of being the heart of capital markets investment on the continent, and to make sure that the capital markets can play their critical role in the Vision 2030 target of transforming Nairobi into an international financial center. Only 1 year into the delivery of that plan, we're very glad to note that some very critical milestones have already been delivered. First and foremost, I would note that the Nairobi Securities Exchange has since been demutualized and self-listed, really moving us to the forefront of transparency, governance, and efficiency in exchange platform provision on the continent, being only the second securities exchange in Africa to have been demutualized. Secondly, I would note that with the lifting of the cap on foreign investor participation in listed securities, which was formerly at 75%, Kenya has taken very significant strides to move closer to the MSCI targets for an emerging market jurisdiction of evidencing substantive availability or access for foreign investors to our market. Now, as we continue to look at available products and scope of instruments to continue to support the deepening of our market, we also note that Kenya has recently launched its first real estate investment trust. We've also recently approved the Nairobi Securities Exchange to commence operations as a derivatives exchange, and we look forward to the early launch by Q1 of 2016 of exchange-traded funds, as well as looking at opportunities for increased listings to really transform and open up the space for market performance on the continent. Now, when you look at Kenya and Kenya's positioning within East Africa and the wider continent, we are already an undoubted transportation and logistics hub. And when you look at how that is now linking into the massive infrastructure development that is not only catering to the country, but also the wider northern corridor and wider East and Central African region, infrastructure undoubtedly is highlighted as one of the most critical investment positions or opportunities within the region. When you look at Kenya's emergence as currently, without question, the leading jurisdiction in mobile money and ICT technology and its link to financial services, we continue to see more and more financial institutions, as well as a very broad spectrum of technology providers coming in to invest, to better understand how they can really unlock the opportunities that come from this miracle that's been driven by the M-Pesa Foundation and the mobile money opportunities within the region. Now, building on that, we're very conscious as Kenya that and it was well highlighted within the 10-year master plan, that there are 5 what we see as very core critical investment or areas of potential excellence for the capital markets and the wider investment community within Kenya. That is continued growth within the asset management and the imminent growth within the Sharia investment products category, the opportunities that are coming from real estate investment, and better strengthening the opportunities for the capital markets to provide channel effectively investment opportunities into the real estate and construction sector. When we look at Kenya's undying foundation as an agricultural economy, we look to the early rollout of the commodities exchange framework, looking at not only agriculture, but also the new core areas of mining and extraction industry that are going to provide very significant opportunities for investment and growth and continue to drive Kenya's vision towards becoming a middle income jurisdiction by the year 2030. Now, in looking at the investment opportunities, I think one of the key highlights is also the significant strides we've made in the space of corporate governance and transparency. We've recently launched a new corporate governance code, which is now complemented by a stewardship code that is really empowering and strengthening the role of institutional investors in playing a critical role in driving corporate governance transparency, accountability, and ultimate value delivery to shareholders. Very positive trends in the last few years, with a number of entities either choosing Nairobi as their continental hub, or very importantly, seeing a number of entities moving their continental hubs out of South Africa, out of Dubai, into Nairobi, as they better understand how closely knit Nairobi and the wider Kenya community is into driving growth and development on the continent.